Welcome back. Some Nigerians have expressed concern over the gale of impeachment by state houses of assembly against their principal officers and members of the executive in the last 1 year. The Senate President, David Mark, at a recent forum, condemned what he termed the hasty and ill-conceived impeachment by state assemblies on principal officers or state governors. Our big story tonight takes a look at this trend.
Barely 3 weeks to the end of his tenure, Enugu State Governor Sullivan Chime is facing impeachment. 14 members of the State House of Assembly have accused the governor of forging a 12 billion naira supplementary budget, putting this as grounds for his impeachment. While the impeachment saga is ongoing, the Enugu State Deputy Governor was kicked out of office by the State Assembly last year. In Ekiti, the State Assembly has been tied up in a showdown with Governor Ayo Fayose in another impeachment saga. The impeachment attempt against the Nasarawa State Governor is still fresh in the memory of Nigerians. The leadership of the National Assembly and some federal lawmakers have condemned what it described as sudden and hastily executed impeachments by state legislatures against its principal officers or state executives.
Impeaching a public elected official is a very serious legislative process and must not be abused or taken for a joke.
When you try to impeach a governor or even the president of a country, you must make sure in the first instance that due process has been followed.
A lawyer says some state legislators are using impeachment as a weapon in their arsenal.
The framers of the Constitution believe it should be used rarely, on rare occasions. It's not every infraction that should attract the deployment of the impeachment process. It should rather be such infractions, such offenses that either rubbish the Constitution or have the capacity to bring down the system.
However, a federal lawmaker disagrees.
If a governor abuses his office and abuses the privileges given to him by the people he's governing, of course the State Assembly has the right and the authority to bring him back to his senses.
The relationship between state houses of assembly and state governors in Nigeria has often been from two extremes, patronizing or rocky. At one extreme, some Nigerians see state houses of assembly as being appendages of state governments.
Parliamentarians across the divide are hostages to vested interest, whether you say the governors or some other forces, because sometimes you find out that if the governor runs foul of the powers that be at the center, the power at the center has the capacity to swing the assembly against the governor. So you find out that it's not just being appendages of the governor or being puppets in the hand of the puppeteer, the governors, but rather vested interests, some of them within the state, some of them outside the state, control what happens.
Some incoming state legislators suggest solutions to this problem.
It's time for the House of Assembly to assert themselves, to make sure that they have their first-line votes and first-line funding. That is the only way they can be strengthened in the democracy, in the democratic experience that we're having.
As a new administration is all set to resume office in a matter of days, what Nigerians would want to see is synergy between state assemblies and state governments to aid the country in achieving its developmental goals, increase transparency and accountability, and curb corruption. Linda Akibe, Channels Television News.
10 persons charged with the torture, attempted murder and sodomy of 3 females accused of stealing pepper at Oba Morufu International Market in Ejigbo, Lagos, have been granted bail. The accused, aged between 20 and 65, were granted bail in the sum of 250,000 naira each and sureties in like sum by the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja. They face a 10-count charge for allegedly sexually assaulting Nike Salami, Juliana Agomo, and assaulting one Ajoke Agomo by stripping her naked, beating her up, and rubbing pepper all over her body back in February 2013. All the lawyers to the defendants in separate applications had urged the court to grant the defendants bail on liberal terms, noting that a lower court had on June the 27th, 2014, granted some of them bail, and they have satisfied their bail conditions. In her ruling on the bail applications brought by the lawyers of the defendants, Justice Ipaye held that she had considered the charges preferred against the 10 defendants, and they are all innocent until proven guilty. Now to commercial matters. The private sector is paying dearly for the continuous tightening of the monetary policy, especially the recent harmonization of the cash reserve ratio on public and private sector deposits by the CBN Monetary Policy Committee. In an interview with Channels television correspondent Christy Cole Pupola, the Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muda Yusuf, explained that excess liquidity in the system may not help the real sector of the economy.
Has been, having serious challenges with regard to the cost of credit. Cost of credit of above 20%, 25%, in some instances 30%, 35%, especially for SMEs. So we have major concerns about the monetary policy tightening. And what we have been told now and again is that, they need to tackle the issue of excess liquidity. But the economy is paying too much for this challenge of excess liquidity. We are paying heavily in terms of the cost of servicing the debt. Sometimes cost of debt service is as close as $500 billion in our annual budget. We're also paying for it because of the distortion it is creating in the financial intermediation process. Because the whole essence of banking is to facilitate the movement of resources, financial resources, from the surplus end of the economy to the deficit end of the economy. So that is a major issue for us. So we need to look at the real sources of this liquidity, because we have been battling this for more than over a decade. And the consequences for the economy have been very profound in terms of crowding out the private sector, in terms of increasing the cost of credit, and in terms of impacting on the cost of doing business, particularly for those who are operating in the real economy. And this is affecting the capacity of the economy to create jobs. So we need to properly interrogate, investigate the sources of this liquidity so that you can minimize the kind of adverse consequences the management of the liquidity is having for the economy.
Now, from the harmonization of rates to the decline in GDP first quarter, what would you say are the key drivers of the financial system now? Who are the beneficiaries and who are the losers as far as you're concerned? And what are your expectations for the economy as far as implications are concerned?
You see, the CRR harmonization is likely to further, worsen the liquidity situation. You have the public sector component where you now have some relief. The CRR on public sector was 75%. That has been harmonized to 31%. That of the private sector was 20%. It has now been moved up to 11%. But the truth of the matter is that the public sector deposit is not as crucial at this time as the private sector deposit. Because the public sector deposit is a very volatile deposit. It can be called up at any time. So there is not much of serious investment that could be made from public sector funds. Besides, we know the fiscal condition of many of the state governments, many of the federal government agencies, and even the federal government itself. So there is even no much fund in the public sector that could actually create a robust public sector deposit for banks to lend.
First Bank. You first.
Welcome to Business News. I am Adeshewa Josh. The Executive Management Committee of the Securities and Exchange Commission has suspended BGL Asset Management Limited, BGL Capital Limited, and BGL Securities Limited from all capital market activities. Now, this decision was reached at its meeting held on May the 19th, 2015, after considering reports of a detailed investigation into the various complaints received from investors against the group. The SEC also suspended sponsored individuals of the BGL Group, whose particulars are contained in the Commission's record as at December 2014, from performing any capital market activities. In the notice of suspension, the Securities and Exchange Commission also asked Mr. Albert Okumagba, the Group Managing Director of BGL Group, to cease to be a registered sponsored individual with the Commission, following the withdrawal of the registration of BGL PLC as a capital market operator. Now, trading at the Nigerian equities market ended negative today as the all-share index shed 0.21%. The market capitalization now stands at 11.7 trillion naira. Here's Krista Cole with the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Markets Report. Nigeria's equities market recorded further losses today, down 0.21%, bringing the all-share index to 34,459.84. The gain is charted topped by NASCON, which appreciated 23 kobo. FedSyn is next, with shares up 14 kobo, while Dangsem also appreciates by 11 kobo. Now, on the decliners list, Seplat leads with losses of 13 naira 78 kobo, while Guinness shed 1 naira, and Nigeria Breweries also shed 62 kobo. Now, on the volumes chart, Charms is leading there with trades just a little above 31 million shares. Skybank is next with 27 million shares, while ETI sold 11 million shares. Now, in total, 196 million shares valued at 1.3 billion naira were traded in 3,876 deals. And that's the Stock Market Report. I am Christy Cole Hupola.
Thank you, Krista Cole. Mr. Valentine Anunobi and Wahid Abioye have emerged winners for Week 2 and 3 in the ongoing MTN Best 11 House promo. At the prize presentation ceremony in Lagos, the marketing team at MTN, they say that the promo is designed to empower and better the welfare of their customers. MTN also announced the launch of its True Talk Plus, a variant of the MTN True Talk package through which more Nigerians can have access to the promo.
Our winners to come forward.
Members of staff of MTN, joined by journalists and officials of relevant lottery regulatory bodies, to witness the presentation of the new winners of houses. The new landlords, Mr. Valentine Anunobi, an event manager from Imo State, and Mr. Wahid Abioye, an artisan from Osogbo in Osun State, were presented checks which will be converted to their new houses in any location of their choice by MTN's partner, Lamudi.
So if you're on that platform, you go for 3 minutes in a given day.
MTN's General Manager Consumer Marketing, Mr. Richard Unwagbe, explains how you too can be a winner.
Once you still call it 3 minutes, cumulative, in a given day, you have one entry. And multiples of 3 minutes will also enable you to enter. So we are giving you choices. The first choice is My Best 11, no access fee. The second choice is the whole country, having access fee. Both of them will qualify you for this promotion.
Both winners also share their experiences and gratitude to MTN.
I'm very grateful. Even a day, I spent 750 card, MTN card, 1,005 MTN card in a day.
I feel so excited. I feel overwhelmed. Right from the very day I was called, that was 2 days back, I was contacted. I had to go and make some confirmations from MTN office in Owerri, and it was confirmed that yes, I actually won this very promo.
To help make more house owners and 11,000 naira winners, MTN has also introduced a new product to increase access to the promo. Its Chief Marketing and Strategy Officer, Mr. Bayo Adekombi, explains.
We've also introduced a variant of True Talk, which has been very, very successful. We have also reduced the rate for international destination. Now they can call US, United Kingdom, India, China, and Canada at half the price. So essentially, we understand that Nigerians can now do much more than what they used to do before. So it's a better deal for both our True Talk customers and our True Talk Plus customers. The only difference is that True Talk customer, True Talk Plus will require customers to pay access fee of 5 naira.
As lucky winners emerge daily and weekly, the telecoms giant says it remains committed to delivering world-class services to its customers and Nigerians. Henry Ogunjimi, Channels Television News.
Now let's check out the crude oil market. Brent crude oil prices dipped in early trade as supply glut continues to pull markets as prices remained in a narrow range since late April. After days of numerous erratic pricing, front-bread crude are contrasting views that oil markets may be shrinking. Supply concerns have dominated in early trades, with Brent down 5 cents at $64.98 per barrel, while the U.S. crude lost 15 cents to $58.82. Analysts say oil price dropped following a bounce in prices on Wednesday as a stock draw in the United States and a tightening Asian market lifted the market after oversupply caused steep falls. The Nigerian Breweries PLC has started preparations for the 2015 World Teachers' Day, which is held on the 5th of October every year. At the launch of its Maltina Teacher of the Year award in Lagos, the management of the company explains that the initiative is to motivate Nigerian teachers to keep up their good work of human development. Teachers interested in the competition can put in their application by logging on to www.maltinanigeria.com.
This applause is to appreciate the efforts of Nigerian teachers in nation building. At the maiden edition of Maltina Teacher of the Year Award, an initiative of Nigerian Breweries PLC, the management and staff of the company say this is one way of celebrating teachers in Nigeria and promoting education in the country.
We do not celebrate our teachers well enough. Even though all of us had passed through teachers, and maybe even in our adult lives, we are still passing through teachers one way or the other, because some of us even return to the schools for adult education.
We have renovated, donated equipment to tertiary institutions, including the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, the Pan-Atlantic University, and currently the fund is investing in medical education through equipping the Clinical Skills Laboratory and the University College Hospital in Ibadan.
The teachers are delighted with this initiative and appreciate being remembered for their impact on the society.
To commend the Nigerian Breweries, makers of Maltina, for remembering teachers of Nigeria, the first time in this country, where when a corporate organization now, we appreciate and commend teachers of Nigeria to know their roles. These are nation builders.
This is an initiative that has been long in coming in the stables of Nigerian breweries, and it's almost a privilege that our leading malt brand, Maltina, which has been delivering nourishment since 1976 and rich with vitamins, is spearheading this initiative to give back. Because at the very heart and soul of the brand is about sharing happiness.
Incorporated in 1946, Nigerian Breweries PLC has undertaken numerous corporate social responsibility projects, and the company says it will continue to give back to the society.
Well, that's Business News Tonight. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
First Bank. You first.
Football activities kick off tomorrow in the round of 16 matches of the Channel's National Kids Cup. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.